Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay. It's Monday morning. It's after a wild week and weekend. It literally is the star card at this point. You have the right before the in the tarot deck, right before the star card is the tower, where everything comes collapsing down, and then the star card follows, which they refer to as the calm after the storm. So we've had a very tumultuous last couple of weeks, or last week or so in July in American politics. It's funny, to the point where not many, well, other than the fact that the Secret Service head is being in Congress right now, being questioned by Congress people, House members, about what happened with the Pennsylvania rally, that's almost irrelevant news at this point. In looking at the news this morning, it is becoming more and more apparent that Kamala Harris is going to be the heir apparent to the presidential candidacy for the Democrats in 2024. She has Nancy Pelosi's endorsement, as well as endorsements from other, excuse me, from other political candidates who would have been considered, or whose names were bandied about, like Andy Beshear or Gretchen Whitmer or something people along those lines. She's gotten those endorsements, as well as almost a third of the delegates she needs to secure the Democratic nomination have basically endorsed her. So between inheriting Joe Biden's political apparatus and all the money that he has raised, because they've changed it from the Biden-Harris election fund to the Harris for President fund, she basically inherits all of that. So now she's in charge of it. Any other candidate that comes in has to start fundraising from scratch. So logistically speaking, it's really unlikely that there's going to be another candidate for the Democrats who can seriously challenge Kamala Harris at this point. Another article I was looking at on AP was from Saturday. The dateline was the 20th of July, and Pelosi gave a speech in North Carolina, and it was noted in the article that she did not mention Biden and president and re-election in her talk. She talked about the successes the Biden administration had, and she asked, "Are you ready for a Democratic president?" So it just appears that there was a lot of pressure being put on Joe Biden, and Nancy Pelosi was hedging her bets, shall we say, saying, "Are you ready for a Democratic president?" Because she knew Biden was going to make up his mind pretty soon, and she might hedge her bet a little bit about that one, because you can just brush that one off. But I think she expected Biden would step down, and that's what happened. And it doesn't seem fair, and it doesn't seem just to Joe Biden. But maybe in the end of the day, it's for the best for the Democrats. That one of the articles, again, on AP I was reading was, and Nancy Pelosi said this was taken out of context, but basically she warned Joe Biden that if he stayed in the race, the Democrats may not take the House. And if you don't have both branches of government, nothing's going to get done. But I should say both branches of Congress. You have to have both the House and the Senate to get stuff done. So let's look at the energy around Kamala Harris now, one day after the announcement. Apparently she was on the phone a lot yesterday, talking with people, talking with delegates and stuff like that, and shoring up support. So I think this is going to it just appears that this is going to coalesce quickly around here. Okay? Entertainment purposes only. Let's see what we got. Kamala Harris, energy around here. Three of Wands. Now, I'm not saying she's putting the cart before the horse or counting her chickens before they hatch, but she's getting ready. she's she's getting ready. We've got a little over 3 months before the election's coming up, and she's already looking forward to, or forward looking, I should say. Not looking for like, oh, I'm so excited, but she's looking in the future and saying, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? What order do I need to do it in? How is this going to work out? She's already in her mind going to be that candidate, and she's planning for the future with that. Crossed with the Nine of Cups and the Six of Swords. The reason why she's looking to the future is that Biden is leaving. The chaos in the media is now over. The calls for Biden to step down because he had a bad debate and he might not be cognitively capable, that's all shut down now. And ironically enough, now any argument that the media made against Joe Biden and Joe Biden's age and his gaffes and verbal gaffes and calling things by the wrong name, those now they have always applied to Donald Trump. But now they solely apply to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the oldest nominated candidate by a major political party for the U.S. presidency. And he's in mental decline. The same arguments that the media and the right have been slinging at Joe Biden are equally applicable against Donald Trump. Now let's watch the media and see if they grade on the same grade curve now. Now that the Democrats' presumptive candidate is 20 years younger and sharp as a tack, will there be equal time? Is Kim from Intuit View going to be right? Are we going to have a Vance Harris presidential run in November? Anyways, planning crossed with the Nine of Cups. The reason why she's planning is she's sitting in the best position. She's got all her endorsements lined up. All the delegates are starting to line up. She's in a great position. And she's in a very strong position to be the first female president of the United States. The first first president with an Asian background. She's obviously she would be the second black president. I think Linda G or somebody put up a meme that said "Black Jobs," and it showed Kamala Harris coming out waving. So, and one of the things on one of the Sherry's show was on last night was, for the longest time, for years, Linda G and others have been saying women were going to take Trump down. So why wouldn't it be Kamala Harris as the presidential candidate in 2024 to take Trump down? The prosecutor against the felon. The person who's gone after rapists versus the rapist. The irony is there. In the past, the Ace of Cups, extremely passionate person in what she does. I would suspect in everything she does, there's no ho-hum, I don't care, whatever, anything's good enough. No, I suspect she cares a lot about a lot of things. She laid into Joe Biden really hard in the 2020 primary season with the school bus story. And somebody was telling a tale that Joe Biden has a little sign that says, basically, forgive people. That, in the political process, the person who just crushes you one day may be a political ally the next. And I suspect that maybe she wasn't real thrilled with Joe Biden. I mean, Joe Biden had to talk with her and convince her to join his ticket. And I think she gave him a run. I suspect she's extremely fond of Joe Biden right now. So his stepping down, while it's giving her an incredible opportunity, I think part of her is heartbroken for him. But, don't underestimate the passion of this woman. Bringing that passion to this job. And there I was talking about current situation is the heartbreak and betrayal. But at what a cost, having to tell Grandpa basically that he can't have the keys to the Corvette anymore. Talk about cracking some eggs to make an omelet type of vibe. It's a very bittersweet nomination. Likely this is going to work out well for the Democrats in the end and for the United States in the end. But it required Joe Biden to do the most remarkable of things, which was walk away from power. He's not resigning his presidency, and we'll have a peaceful transfer of power in 2024 to 2025. But when Biden knows he's going to win that election, he absolutely knows it in his heart he's going to win it, and he knows in his heart that he's capable of doing the job. But to humble yourself to the point of stepping down and stepping back and letting somebody else take over something that you knew you could do and you knew you could win, that's going to be a lesson for us as a collective. And I wonder how that's going to pan out. Overarching energy is the High Priestess. Divine feminine wisdom, knowledge, secrets held, but secrets revealed. If you ask the Oracle, she'll reveal the secrets. This is probably, and again, this is likely a very, very wise decision. This is going to activate some central pillars of the voting populace. Again, you've got a black candidate and an Asian candidate running for president in the form of Kamala Harris, and that's going to activate communities in there. Whatever inroads Trump might have made with the black community, I think those inroads are going to be knocked back a bit with Kamala Harris now leading the ticket. I don't think she's got quite the charisma that Barack Obama did. You think about the whole "Yes, we did" movement with Barack Obama. It really energized African American voters. I don't know if she'll have that same impact, but it's not going to be. She's not going to dissuade them from that. It's not just, it's another old white dude versus another old white dude. Gosh, really excited about this election. This might say, right on, we can support a sister here. And for the tough on crime folks, she's got that in spades. Oh, and apparently the Nikki Haley PAC is also endorsing Kamala Harris. So Biden was trying to court that PAC, and Kamala Harris now has their endorsement. So things are strengthening up for Kamala Harris nicely. The lesson to be learned, the theme card for the day today, the star card. This is the calm after the storm. This is your new rising star in the Democratic Party. But it's not just her central star. It's the stars around her. There are so many young to middle-aged Democrats who will be incredible leaders in this country. And it's, again, Nancy Pelosi already handed the torch over to Hakeem Jeffries. Chuck Schumer will hopefully and likely do the same in the Senate. Biden has done that for Kamala Harris. It's time for the guard to change and bring in the new guard. And the outcome is going to be the Five of Wands. It's going to be wild for the remainder of the summer. Now, Kamala Harris has a lot of work that she needs to do. There's a lot of scrambling, a lot of calls that need to be made, bridges that need to be smoothed out, um, donors that need to be reassured or energized, and oh yeah, and her normal vice presidential duties on top of all that. On, I guess, the plus side is that now that Joe Biden has withdrawn his presidential bid for the 2024 election, it allows him to focus on the duties of the president as opposed to having to focus on the duties of the president and campaign. And I think doing both of those was exhausting for him. He is 81 years old after all. But it will help him focus and do a better job because he can focus on the job at hand. For the stuff that Kamala Harris was working on, that might get delegated to other folks, so she can focus on running her candidacy for the presidency. That doesn't mean that high-profile things that would look good on her resume or look good for allies will be ignored. I'm sure she will attend the really important stuff, but more of the mundane day-to-day stuff I'm sure is going to get delegated. One other thing comes to mind, and again, this is just because I'm a fanboy of all the intuitives that your fanboys and fangirls have. It was said that Biden, intuitives were predicting Biden was setting Harris up for succession very early on in his presidency, having her do more work than would normally be expected, and that she might have been resentful at first, like he's being lazy, but really what he was doing was getting her ready to be the president of the United States in case he ever needed to step down. So, a lot of mentorship there. I mean, not only was he a vice president, so he knows what that role is, but he's also a president and a senator, so they have a lot in common. And if Harris gets elected in November, they will have even more in common. Okay. How's that Kamala? So we look at the energy around Kamala Harris. How are the donors? To me, again, it feels like the donors drove this. Ultimately, money is driving politics, which means ultimately we got to get money out of politics so that the people running for the jobs are the best qualified people that want to do the best job they can do with this, and not be forced to have people that the donors want. J.D. Vance would be an example of somebody that the donors wanted, that the presidential candidate for the Republicans did not. But how are the donors feeling with this change? Okay, Five of Wands. Okay, there's going to be a lot of turmoil in with the donors as they try to figure out what this means. And, again, you're going to have to... the donors wanted this, and there's going to be some chaos for a while, but calls are being made to address this. And there's your donors card. At least for me, that's a donors card. Okay, so we have a lot of energy. Again, to me, this was the outcome for Kamala Harris. And I think all this is going to be is the clarifiers for Kamala Harris as to what is it with the outcome was the Five of Wands. What does that mean? Okay, she has to call all the donors and reassure the donors that everything's fine. We got this under control. We got you taken care of. Heard your message. Go ahead and open up those purse strings. The other turmoil that Kamala Harris has is the Five of Cups, the disappointment. It's... if she was going to be the president of the United States, I think she would have preferred to go through the primary season like she would have done in 2020 and got the nomination that way, as opposed to having the president withdraw and her become the presumptive nominee. I think it bothers her because it feels like, she was coronated, handed the job as opposed to earning it. But the fact of the matter is, she's prepared for this job. She's been working this job. She has intimate knowledge of the administration and its policies. Yeah, it's kind of like I think she wanted to be the president of the United States. This is just not the path that she would have chosen, but it was the path given to her. Just a little bit of ego. I think, and I get it. I get it. And they say, when you ask spirit for something, don't get caught up in how it gets to you. Did you get what you asked for? Yes or no? I wanted. No, it's kind of like I want $1 million. And, in your mind, you win the lottery or something like that. Well, that $1 million might come to you because you worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for 10 years straight and built up a business or something like that and saved and scrimped. And next thing you know, you got $1 million. And you're like, well, yeah, I wanted $1 million, but I didn't want to have to do that to get it. Well, the request was for the $1 million. How it came to you, you had these dreams of finding a suitcase with it, or a wealthy uncle that you didn't know about left you $1 million. No, you scraped you had to scrape, save, and struggle, and you got it. Just saying. Maybe you have to be a little more specific in those wishes. So what is Kamala dealing with? She's dealing with the donors. She's dealing with, kind of her own expectations of how it got there. And then she's got to convince the delegates and the American people that she's the right person for the job. Oh, and she's also going to have to pick a VP in there. Oh, geez. And the card underneath is the King of Cups, the Joe Biden card. Underneath all of this whole 501's moment brought to you by President Joe Biden. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for the incredible gift. You've just turned my life upside down. Like I said, be careful what you wish for. Oh dear. Spirit's got a little bit of a sense of humor, as does Joe Biden. Okay, we'll leave it here. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.